What's up, guys? Back with another Mattel WWE action figure video, and today I got a lot of stuff on the work table today because I'm gonna be taking these new basic series figures and I'm gonna fix them up, gonna convert them to elite figures because I think there's so much potential now with this line with the new articulation, but we're gonna go one level above that just to maximize our articulation. On the desk today, we got Stone Cold, Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, and Bobby Lashley. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab Bobby right here because what I just wanna show my appreciation for these new basics because I think there's just a few points of articulation missing and to take these just, that next step above. And that's what we're gonna do today. So this is kind of the before stage. So looking at Bobby, what I love about the new articulation, of course, is we can go here, we can go forward, and they're only single jointed knees, but they go to 90. And since they're pegged in right here, you can actually get a little twist there. And the way the ball joint actually has enough room on up here at the hip on the thigh, where you actually get a little twist in and out. So even though you don't have a thigh swivel, you still get plenty of room to really, get your pose the way you want to, but you're limited because these basic boots, don't have any ankle pivot. So what we're gonna do today with these guys is some of them are gonna be, really 3 of them are gonna just be a torso swap and some boot swaps. And then there's some other ones we're gonna play around with some other different things, but essentially the step 1 upgrade for all of these is a real easy upgrade. Is like, say with that Bobby Lashley, had this top picks Bobby Lashley, we can just swap the boots and you'll get, ankle articulation. And boom, you've upgraded the point of articulation. But what I want to do with most of these guys is say, here's the top picks Cody Rhodes. I want to do some torso swapping. I want to crack these torsos and swap them so we can now have, our full ab crunch. We'll have the double jointed arms, and then, we're losing. We're only going to have single jointed articulation there on the legs, but we're still going to have our boot swivel and our ankle rotation and pivot and, no thigh swivel, but we were getting a good amount of twist on those basics. So we're going to be playing around with that. This is, I'm going to really do everything off screen because I don't have the room, the video, and do it live, but I'm going to go quickly one by one on each of these figures and just toss out my ideas. And with the Stone Cold, since he's got the t-shirt graphic, I'm not gonna crack a torso or do anything like that. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace the boots. And what I've realized with these basic figures, the way the peg comes from the boot, which on most of the elite figures, the peg comes down off the leg into an empty boot. But like on Roman Reigns figures, it's the opposite. So I actually got some Roman Reigns style boots. We're gonna plug in the Steve Austin there to give him some more articulation. Another thing I'm gonna do, let's go ahead and center him back up, is although this head sculpt's great, I'm kind of tired of seeing it on everything. So I'm actually gonna take this head sculpt from the Royal Rumble Elite. And if we can, I'm gonna hold him here at the top. I really like this head sculpt. I think it's better than the one that came on the Ultimate, which here maybe I can hold both of them at the same time. It's bigger than what came on the Ultimate. The Ultimate one seems a little small. It's close to this size, so that size works, but I like the shape of this head and the mean look way better. I think it'll work with his body proportions a little bit better to have a little bit larger head, because right now he's kind of got a small head with that big body with the big thighs, the big calves. So we're gonna go with this head. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna add a t-shirt style double jointed arms. These arms are from the Commissioner Foley figure. And what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna heat them up. And as if we see right there, I'm actually gonna take my X-Acto knife and come in right in there. I'm gonna heat it up where it's nice and soft, and then we're gonna cut through right there where we can ply that arm off. And we'll do the same thing on this arm. and then we'll make sure it's heated up, and we'll essentially, without that peg there, gonna twist that back onto there and give him double jointed arms. Hopefully that works. Just kind of a theory on how that will work. And then we move on to Logan Paul. I'm gonna crack the torso, swap the torso, and use a torso from this Top Picks Seth Rollins. This is the formula they're using for the Top Picks Logan Paul. I don't have that figure, but we're gonna use this, and I'll have the acetone off the chest hair, but that's the formula Logan Paul will be working with. But also another thing I want to try, I just have these plain black kick pads that we can swap with him to give us, articulation on the ankle. But I kind of want to see if we can go and give Logan Paul double jointed knees. Now, you're like, well, how can we add double jointed knees to a basic figure? Well, so I got the kick pad with the top of the calf and the rest of the knee hinge with the this part, not the peg, but what you slide the peg through. And so we're gonna, like I was saying, we do the little cut method like with Stone Cold's arms. I'm actually gonna cut right here in the thigh, so I apply that, this pinless leg apart, and then we're gonna slide this in, let it cool down, and see if we can actually have double jointed legs on a basic figure. And then Cody Rhodes, it'll be a very simple torso swap. I got the Top Picks. Man, I keep hitting my camera. I apologize for that. I got the Top Picks. Cody, gonna swap the torso, put on, the Elite style boots, give him that articulation. We'll be good to go. And then Bobby Lashley, same deal. Torso swap with the Top Picks Bobby Lashley. He's gonna have Elite boot ankle articulation and a new ab crunch and double jointed arms. So I know that was a lot of talking up on the front end of the video, but I wanted just to explain a little bit about my thought process. And so now I'm gonna cut to the finished product, and hopefully we're able to accomplish everything I wanted to. If not, I'll explain the reason why stuff didn't work, and we'll see how well things did work. So stay tuned. All right, guys, we are back. This is a few days later. Finally got to finishing these projects, and basically I'm gonna show you some of the successes and failures I kind of discovered as I was experimenting with this. And I'm gonna start with Logan Paul over here, because this is one of the Elites that I planned on torso cracking. I ended up not getting that far, because I will show you the success of, if we can get him in focus here, I was able to transplant the double jointed knee on this leg. Over here on the other leg, however, we're just being held in just by pressure. We're actually not connected. I actually can pull this off. As you see the hinge there, and the leg here, as you can see, there's a little piece missing. So basically the process was, I'll show you on this other basic figure, this Roman Reigns figure, which the Roman Reigns figure was actually easier to do this with because he had much thicker legs here. But essentially my process is I heat it up, and then I come in with an X-Acto knife and I slice just one side, slice right there. And so when it's all heated up and malleable, I'm able to pull that apart, slide the leg in, close it, let it cool down, and it stays in place. The problem with Logan Paul here is this is a very skinny leg, and I did my cut the first time and I didn't have a very clean cut. So I put it back in the hot water and then I sliced again. But what I did was I sliced on this side the first time and forgot what side I sliced on. So I sliced on the opposite, on the inner part of the leg. And so I'll pull out the hinge that we got right here. And so here with the hinge, as you can see, there's plastic all the way on both sides. So it was just a clean cut through, and I left that plastic there that needed to stay on the thigh for this to work. But so that was a little bit of a fail, but it is possible to do a double jointed knee transplant on these basic legs. So if I was able to do that perfectly with both, I would definitely have swapped the torso here on Logan Paul. Now that brings me to Bobby Lashley and Cody Rhodes, which I was able to do the torso swap, but I ran into a few issues with them as well. So here's Bobby Lashley. Let me straighten him up, and as you can see, as I straighten him up, he's not fully secure. I actually can just pull him off. I put some sticky tack in there to kind of stick him down. So I mean, I can pose him and do what I want with him, but I can still pull him apart, which is okay because I feel like I can use this as a way to, swap legs and stuff. But essentially, let me pull out another basic leg. So here's, and I knew this about basics, but I guess I was thinking maybe with the new articulation it's different, but the torsos aren't different from the old basics, so it's still this setup. It's a very thick and wider little ridge there on that peg that goes up into the torso. So like on Cody Rhodes' legs we swapped out, I don't know if you can see, but it's a much thicker peg on the left, and really the thickness of that cylinder is about what the thickness of this ridge is. So basically what I did, I'll pull Bobby Lashley's legs, I basically just got the Dremel out and I grinded it all the way down, and I might have took a little bit too much off. I also on the inside kind of took a little bit of that little channel there on the inside of the torso. I had to take that out just so we could fit them on. And as you can see, if I wanted to, I could heat it up, press that together, super glue it, that gap closed. But right now I'm just going to leave it like this and pull them on and off, which I think is okay. Put Bobby, lean him forward, stick him over there. And so with Cody, it's the same situation, but I took a little bit too, maybe not a little bit too much off, but he's a little looser than Bobby. Bobby ended up being pretty good. And so still got that little bit of gappage here, closed everything else up, didn't glue it down. But so honestly, this Cody Rhodes now has a little bit more, another point of articulation, because I can pull him up and then lean him forward and further back, and I'm using this weight belt to hide that right now. But if I took the belt off, you can see it's on there. He's just loose, which I don't have any sticky tack on Cody Rhodes, but I would put some in there to kind of grease that. But I really like the look of this. I like this pants design way more than these, just because this is now kind of more the design that Cody's kind of currently going with the color blocking this way, where these were kind of like, he wore this in his debut, in this style in his debut at WWE, but I think of his AEW run, his last little bit with these. But this is kind of current day Cody, and he's got different color blocking with the style. But I like this. It's got good leg articulation, plus you can twist here. It's only a single jointed knee, but you can still do a lot since you can come all the way up. And I got the boot swivel and the ankle pivot. We got an ab crunch now, so we can do a lot more. Oop, popped his head off a little too easily. There we go. So I feel like now that I've done this once, I can do a little better job of making it a little tighter with that torso. But I do like now that, hey, if there is a basic figure that has a tights design or legs that I like, I can still, and there's some legs that I like, I can still use them. Now with Stone Cold, I didn't crack the torso. I might have, probably could have, should have, would have cracked the torso, because what I did with the arms here, I said I was going to use those Mick Foley arms, and they were just too skinny. I used the top shoulder part, but everything else was just too skinny, because this Austin's pretty thick. Plus I put a bigger head on here, big thighs, big calves, You know, so we got larger arms, which I wish there was an arm size maybe in between those two, but you know, Austin's an intimidating figure, so I put some big arms on him. And to simulate sleeves, for now I just got like John Cena armbands on here, the newer style armbands, which kind of works, but if you look real close, you know, you can see the texturing on these armbands. They kind of throw it off. I really need like the older rubbery armbands. They would work better. It would look more like a sleeve. But my big thing I've ran into with putting these on, you know, I could have cracked the torso and did a complete arm swap. Cody, Bobby, sorry, putting y'all back there. But I just did my like my technique with the legs. I did that with the arms where I heated up and sliced. And as you can see, maybe as the light catches it, that hinge is actually bigger than the arms themselves. So like if I bring these arms in, and you see that channel there that the hinge goes in, it was much bigger. So you can actually see it. So I got to keep his arms down. You can kind of see it on the top there too. But I feel like this is a very good profile for Stone Cold. Kept, you know, got the shirt with the full logo, of course, the full logo on the back, and I think that's a really good look. So I'm pleased with how this turned out. Plus, I did put the Roman Reigns style boots on here that plug straight up into the calf. So, you know, we can get him posed up a little bit, and which is hard for me to do on camera, but you know, we can do a little bit more with, oh, that's a terrible pose, but we got double joint arms. He can bend his legs and got some ankle pivot. So you can do a lot more now with these basics. But anyway, I'm gonna keep experimenting with these main event basic figures, and I like what we got going on. It's just gonna take a little bit of practice to get it right. But look, I like what I've done, and you know, I kind of inadvertently got an interchangeable leg situation with Bobby Lashley here. But look, just having that elite torso on top with these legs, I think everything works. Stone Cold works. You know, still gonna experiment on these legs, double jointing stuff, but hey, you know, it's all a learning process. I'm just kind of having fun with this process, and hopefully this inspires some of y'all that watch to tinker around and play with y'all's toys to figure out how to make your unique collection, you know, pop on your display. But, you know, I'll have more videos as I continue to perfect this process. But I know it's probably a long video. I rambled a lot, but hopefully you got to see the inside of my head of what I'm thinking of how I, you know, put these different parts together. But hey, thank you again for watching, especially if you watched all the way through. If you liked and commented, I appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. And hopefully as we get in through the spring and summer, I'll be out here in my shop working a little bit more in the process of creating these figures. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.